All right, we have Miss Sarah here, and we're not using last names or anything because we're not doing that. This isn't
Okay.
about that, you guys. So thank you so much for being here, and we
You
will
bet.
just kind of jump right in. So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. From what I know about you, you are amazingly fit. You seem very well put together, and I'm just learning that you're also a teacher.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about yourself. Maybe give me some insight into Sarah and what drives you kind of on a daily.
Oh, well, so a year ago, so born and raised in Wisconsin,
Okay.
and spent my first 47 years there. And then when our youngest son graduated from high school, we decided we wanted to live someplace where it's not 30 below half the year. So my husband and I basically quit our jobs
Mm-hmm.
and we moved to North Carolina. So that's been a huge move
Yeah.
for us. Probably more so mentally for me, just because I was leaving the house we lived in for 25 years and
Right.
our friends and our family, our parents, everything like that. So that was a big move. And I was only here, my husband moved a little bit sooner than I did, a couple of months before I did, just because of the house up there and everything. But when I got to North Carolina, I was here 4 weeks and then COVID hit.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, COVID has rocked everybody's world, obviously. Definitely rocked mine in the fact that I knew no one here.
Yeah.
We had all these grandiose plans to, travel to all these places now in the South that we're closer to. We've done no traveling.
Right.
We're actually going on our first trip in 2 weeks. I mean, we haven't been on a plane since before COVID. Just, it's been very mentally wearing this year. The South is very different from the North. I'm not saying it's bad or worse or anything like that. It's just a very different style of living.
Sure.
So that's been an adjustment. Making friends has been an adjustment because we haven't really been able to go anywhere. I mean, I pretty much go to work and the gym. That's pretty
Right.
much, and my house. But what drives me, I'm 48 and I don't want to look like I'm 48.
You don't. You look amazing. So good job.
So I've always been into, I've always, like in high school, I ran track and cross country. College, I, did whatever I could afford to do in terms of working out and stuff, whether it was aerobics or whatever. But I always ran here and there. But then we had kids and, your whole life changes because then it's all about the kids and their schedules and their school and, all of that. And then I started running marathons. And the first 2 I ran, I was pretty darn close to qualifying for Boston.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't qualify. Mm-hmm. And then I really had that bug, that urge to want to qualify. So I kept doing marathons, but actually my time was getting worse rather than getting better. So I kind of felt like I hit a wall. Like I had done all this, like I did kickboxing for 10 years and I did yoga for all these years. And I'm not a yoga person. I find myself just watching the clock the whole time.
It's like not fast enough for you.
It's just, I got to be doing something. I can't.
You need to go fast.
Right.
Yeah.
But 4.5 years ago, like I was really like, now I'm getting close to my mid 40s and I wasn't qualifying for Boston and I kind of felt like my body was just kind of like there, just kind of like everything was just kind of flat.
Yeah.
And my husband came across a trainer in Las Vegas.
Okay.
He had done some IT stuff for him and everything. And the guy was super great. And he offered to train me, like come out to Vegas and do a few training sessions and see his style of training and everything. So I actually went, and I trained with him for like 4 days or 3 days, something like that. And that was when things really kind of shifted for me. My whole diet changed, my whole fitness changed. Everything I had been doing now went out the window, and everything I did was by the book, by what he wanted. And so he would send me my online workouts, and he would, talk to me every day. And so though I think the workouts have, and I still follow them to this day,
So
6 days a
you
week.
went to Vegas. You actually went to Vegas to work
I
out.
did. I
This
did go to
trainer.
Vegas.
Okay.
And because that I felt that you could get the workout online from him and everything, but I really needed to like go through sessions. So I did like 5 training sessions with him.
Okay.
And to really know what his expectations were, like between reps, like how long was I truly going to take a break for? Because I can take a break for 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, right. We all can. Yeah, I understand.
20 seconds, and
Uh-huh.
but then a big part of it too was diet.
Right.
And I was a healthy eater, but then not so much because, it kind of like fluctuated. And so he really had me on a not pretty strict, I'd say very strict diet. I still follow it today about 50%. The breakfast and lunch I follow pretty well. Dinner I kind of
Later in
fall off.
the day, that's harder.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm from Wisconsin. I love beer. I love anything that has like ice cream in it or cake or cookies or, so I mean, like at night, because it's just the two of us now, we'll go out for dinner, have a beer, have some wings, then go get ice cream, not a real healthy choice. But I do plan to kind of curve that a little bit and get back to eating a little healthier, but I do overall, but I just, training with him really kind of changed my whole outlook on like going to the gym. Like when I go to the gym, I'm on a mission.
Right.
And I really need that 90 to 120 minutes a day to really just kind of decompress from everything else going on. And I like going to the gym. I like, I like all things fitness. I kind of sometimes think I'd like to pursue a different type of job and something in the,
Fitness.
health and wellness, fitness field, something like that. But, that's kind of my gig right now, just school and working out. And I don't know. We have a dog.
That's so awesome. So I have a couple of questions. So kind of going back to like the big move for you, I think that is something that would like really a lot of us like hits home for a lot of us, especially with COVID coming into play. I feel like part of your heart is still in Wisconsin and what maybe will always be. Do you feel like that? Like there's kind of a rift a little bit there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we lived in the same town for exactly 25 years. It was our first home that we bought. We lived there for 25 years. I mean, it was our starter. It was our fixer-upper. It was a great home for us. Nothing grandiose, but it was definitely our dreams were in that house. Our babies grew up there. So it took an incredibly long time for us to sell our house. I don't know if it had to do with COVID or what, but I mean, our house was on the market for quite a while. And then when it did sell, we went back to Wisconsin last summer to like get the remaining things out that we hadn't taken. And it was hard. It was super hard. And I'm actually going back to Wisconsin next month. And I don't know, part of me would like to go and see the house. And then the other part of me is like, no, but I think it was definitely harder on me than I thought it would be. I think in the beginning when we were, we're going to move and everything, it was everything happened so fast. And we moved down here, we found a house pretty quick, great house, but we're doing a lot to it, because it seems like you're always doing stuff to your house, whatever. And so that's been fun and everything, but it's been really hard to meet people because of COVID, in terms of like, hey, you want to go out for a beer? Well, some people are still not there yet where they're ready to go out. And, I'm lucky I've I've gotten the first of the 2 doses. I get my second one this week. So
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting there with,
Yeah.
being able to go on with a normal life. But I mean, Wisconsin's always going to be my home.
Yeah.
But we love North Carolina. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're having a great time for
Right.
as much as we've been able to do. We love the weather. We love the area that we're in and everything. I mean, who knew, right? Who knew a year ago that it was going to be like it is? It's
Yeah,
just been,
yeah. It's just been a whirlwind for everyone. So
right.
kind of like maybe give us like if you were to kind of look back on things where you're at now with the perspective you have of where you're at now, like what would one thing that maybe would you do anything different? Would you have maybe taken a little more time? Like if someone were to watch this and just be like, oh my gosh, I just did the same thing. Like what would your advice kind of be? Or I'm getting ready to move to a completely, because that is a huge culture shock. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine going from I'm a cheesehead and now I'm down here in North Carolina and I gotta wear all blue now. Like what is going on? Like,
I don't know. All I know is that if you've lived in the same house for 25 years like we have, just purge. Because
yeah,
we
right.
got so much stuff. I don't think you realize how much stuff you have until you're actually moving. Would I do anything differently? I don't really know. That
Yeah,
was the first time I had moved. I mean, I know people that move, every 5 years because of jobs or the military or whatever. It was a totally different experience for me. We had movers come in and, pack our stuff up, and that was hard because everything that you're so used to seeing on a daily basis now is just going into boxes and then going into a moving van and stuff. I guess just make sure that you have an open mind to everything. Like things are very different here in North
hmm,
Carolina than in Wisconsin. But I always tell people up north that I talk to, I think when I say that, people think like, oh, she thinks it's really bad. I don't. It's
no,
just
it's just
it's
different.
a different. I don't want to say lifestyle, but just there is a difference in culture, and we lived in a really small town, really really small, and now we're on the outskirts of a very big city. So we really experience a lot of more city suburban life than we were used to.
Right.
But I don't have any regrets. If I could get another tattoo, I think I would. I think that would be my next tattoo. That would say, I don't have any regrets. I just, I wish things hadn't with COVID. I wish it. I think the whole world probably feels that way, but it's just been hard because we kind of just felt like our life just kind of stopped. Like
Right.
here we are, but we can't really do anything.
Do anything with that. Right. Do you feel
So
like in a way, has it really like trying to look at like kind of the positives of having just kind of that time and things really did, I think, for all of us just completely slow down. Like we went from like kind of going Mach 90 to like, whew, like I gotta really take a look at my stuff. Like, what is it that I need to kind of be working on? Like, is there something like within that space where you can look at it and go, yeah, like this really did kind of give me a chance to, I don't know, get to know myself even a little bit more. And that's what I was curious with your mental like state with your working out. Like, do you feel like you kind of could recommit to that in a way because of that time, like something that
yeah,
way?
and I think I think like normally we're pretty on the go people. Like we love to travel, and we haven't done that in the past, I don't know, 15, 16 months or whatever. So I think, we've definitely, like, my husband and I have definitely spent more time together just like in our home and, um, in our pool. And, that's been nice. We've kind of just slowed down. Like we're usually just rushing all the
Right,
time.
right,
We've been able to do, a lot of the projects that we thought might be in a year or two, we've actually been able to tackle because frankly, there's nothing else to do except, kind of do stuff around your house and whatever. But um, I, I don't know. I'm ready for it to be over. Just like I haven't seen my parents in 9 months. It'll be 10 months when I see them next month. So that's been hard.
mm,
They're in their mid 80s and while they're in great health, in their mid 80s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's been
How much
hard
time?
to not be able to see them, or my girlfriends up north, because everything is always about, it's always about COVID. We tried 3 or 4 times this year to get together, and then it was, well, this city's on lockdown because of COVID. We can't go there, and our vaccines are coming, so we should wait a little bit longer. So it's always been this waiting game, and now we all will have our shots or vaccines so that we can get together next month. And it's just, I think I will appreciate things so much more now. I don't think,
Right.
like before I was like, oh, we're going to do our girls trip. Of course, we always do our girls trip, but we haven't been able to do our girls trip because we've had so many obstacles in the way. And so I'm super excited about seeing them next month because I feel like we're getting over this huge hurdle,
Right. Right. I think everyone watching hopefully can relate to that in some way, shape, or form. And whether we've experienced that slowdown and have been able to manage it and still work, or however it's looked for all of us. But I think a big part that you brought up too is just not being able to see loved ones, and just especially those that are a little bit older, because either we're trying to make it safe for them as well because we do care, or the unknown, I think, has kind of been the biggest part of all of this, is just kind of fear of, we don't know how much time we've have left, or where that's going. And I think, yeah, it's been very, like you said, that's perfect way of describing, it'll be so nice to be able to kind of say, okay, I can come see you now, and you will appreciate it more. And it's like we've almost gotten to a space where we've been able to kind of ground it down in a way into what it really matters. Our priorities have readjusted, and we've just been able to really either work on ourselves or our relationships with our families and our kids. Even though we are not seeing them, it's tethered us together a little bit stronger, I think.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, so back to your working out. I'm very curious. So you go out to Vegas and you're already super fit and you're just kind of wanting a change because, okay, so I'm type 1 diabetic. And so I did a fitness competition because I was I'm going to push myself to the limit. I want to see what I can do, but I understand where you're at. But what happened for you, if you were to look at it when you first started working out with him? Did you have was it just easy for you and he kept you motivated and it was good, or did it take you a minute to kind of mentally?
Oh no, it took me a lot of moments mentally.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I had to kind of revamp how I looked at going to the gym. And I wasn't really, honestly, I never had a gym membership before I went to Vegas and worked out with this trainer. No, I take that back. I did for a couple of years, but it wasn't very long because I would just run and I'd go to a yoga class here and there. I'd go to kickboxing. I did that for a decade. But going to the gym kind of freaked me out a little bit, all the different equipment and how would I know what weight, weight intensity.
Yeah, it's intimidating. You're just I don't know. This is my body. I kind of know what I want to look like. I know I'm strong, but I'm not really sure what to do. Yeah.
And I really didn't know how many reps of anything to do, and how long of a break do you take between a rep? I could take 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And so he really, when I went out there, that was why I went out there. He could have told me oh, you're going to do this with that machine, 4 sets of 10. And, he could have told me, but I really needed to see the intensity of what he was expecting.
Right.
The pace of going across the floor using sliders, or the, just whatever. So I was really glad I did. I will tell you, it was not easy. The diet he put me on was extremely difficult for me. It was
how many calories and give us an example, hardly anything.
So I don't know what my calories are. We'll say 1,000 calories. Okay.
So
for breakfast, and I still follow this every day, I have 3 egg whites and a quarter cup of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And that's my breakfast.
Yeah.
And then for lunch and dinner, it should be a small piece of lean chicken breast or turkey breast. Um, I like tilapia or salmon, and then a vegetable. So either like broccoli, green beans, asparagus,
Yeah.
or a half a sweet potato.
Right.
And then twice a day, I get to have a half a teaspoon of almond, or one teaspoon twice a day of almond butter,
Butter.
and then my protein shake. And and 5 grapes and 30 almonds.
That's so funny. I can totally relate to that. And like, I think anyone that's been on this, like, if you've worked with a trainer that's certified in fitness and nutrition and you've gone down this path, and I don't know, tell me, like, for you, did it, like, it's super hard at first because I think you're going through like cravings and withdrawals and sugar withdrawals, and then like for me, I was like Diet Coke a lot, like just to get through the day or whatever. It was like my sweet treat, but I had to let that even go in order to really get to where I wanted to get. But what were your, like, within that space, and you're doing these things and you're just making these choices, I feel like, was it so nice to be able to have someone that was holding you accountable? Was that like part of
Yeah.
what kept
Oh,
you moving?
yes. And like I remember like texting him saying like, I just had my breakfast, you know,
Yeah.
it's 5 hours till lunch. And he'd be like, yeah, it's 5 hours till lunch. You got this.
Yeah.
He's like, go to the gym, go clean your house, whatever you got to do. He's like, you got this. You just, you have to let your stomach just, start to understand that this is what you're having for breakfast and this is what you're having for lunch. But it took me a solid month. I mean, that might even be on the low side. But when I was there, he also would cook meals for me so that I kind of got a sense of what I could have, and what that quantity should look like and stuff. And it was funny because he would cook a meal for me and then he would have something completely different.
Right.
But he's like, this is what you should have. And it was good. I'm very grateful to him because I never would have like gotten a fitness magazine or something and said like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow this. And
Right.
I mean, really 4.5 years later, I'm still doing it. The diet is the harder part for me because,
Right. It's a lifestyle. Well, it's a lifestyle change. And I think the biggest part that I think people kind of miss when they gear up to go into this space is they don't get someone to hold them accountable. And
Right.
if you have someone that you look up to that's like a mentor or someone that you really respect in a way, and I feel like for you, it was really important almost to even have a male representative because you knew you couldn't like manipulate the situation.
Right.
We do that.
Yes.
That's just kind of natural for us. And I think that's what people really do need to understand is you need to have someone help hold you accountable to these goals and show you like you
Right.
don't know how to go cook a tilapia piece so it tastes
No.
palatable. And then
Right.
I mean, I got to the
Right.
point with mine where I'd cook tilapia and have it cold and just eat it cold, as gross as that sounds, because I got
Wow.
over the flavoring like of food. It became actual fuel for my body and what I was needing. And you stop kind of caring
Yep.
about the cravings, I think, and things. Does that resonate with you a little bit where you just, why
Yeah.
you're eating it and it's less about what it is and that part and more just.
Right. Well, and I think it helps too, like if your spouse is on board with what
Yeah.
you're doing,
Oh, huge.
I mean, because, even, and I'm not saying like we stopped going out to eat or anything, but, I would just, instead of getting French fries with my salmon or whatever, I would get, grilled vegetables. And,
Yeah.
I think when your partner, your significant other, whatever is on board with you, I think it helps a lot too, because even though my trainer held me accountable, he wasn't with me 24/7, so I mean, you still have to have that support, a little
Can
closer
you
to
imagine
home.
you're at home and your kids are like, Mom, we need ice cream like every day, or your husband's like, oh, I just made you this huge meal and it's fried everything and whatever. That's huge. You brought up a huge support. And I feel like with you guys, let's like share with us a little bit like your relationship with him, because you guys have been together for a long time, and then now going through COVID, this huge move, you're like fitness queen. Like, is he involved in fitness too? Like, what is it that you guys do to kind of keep each other tethered, if that makes sense?
Um, so we've been married almost 27 years. Um,
Awesome.
and
Congrats.
thank you. So our thing that we really love, and my husband always has said this for forever, we love to travel. And since our kids were very, very young, every summer we go to Maui. And we spend a couple of weeks there. And my husband always told our kids, because our kids then would stay with grandma and grandpa, and he would say, he would say to our children, you guys are going to grow up and you're going to leave home someday. But he said, your mom and I are still need to be connected,
Yeah, right.
now and, once you leave and everything, because I think you do get so involved in your kids' activities. Our kids were in everything. And I think you forget, like, oh yeah, and I'm married and I'm a wife and I'm this. And so travel has always been a big thing for us, just to be able to reconnect. Fitness, yeah, if he was here, he would tell you that he unwillingly goes to the gym with me, but he doesn't share quite my desire to work out. I don't think I would offend him if he heard this.
Yeah, I feel like you're like at a 10 and he's maybe like at a 6, like, yeah, go and support.
Yeah.
But the thing that's so cool is that he supports you, and that's the biggest piece of it. Like,
yeah, he does. He's super supportive of it. And I feel better.
Right.
I feel better going to the gym. Like my days. So like I have 4 like long workouts a week, and then 1 day off, and then my weekend should be shorter. But sometimes, like everybody, you have to revamp it because of a work meeting or this or whatever. And so sometimes my schedule just has to change, and he's really good about, like, oh, okay, all right, so you're going to be gone for 2 hours at the gym, and whatever. And I mean, he's flexible about it. And I mean, you yourself, the person going to the gym, you have to be flexible about it too, because, it doesn't always go, and I think I'm terrible at the gym about, though, like, when I need to get on a piece of equipment and somebody's there and they're just on their phone, doing something not related to working out. Please don't do that, people.
Like, go in, do your workout. I'm here to work out, and you're making me feel like I want it. It's like, it's so easy for us to be distracted. So then it's like, when you already are struggling with that and someone else is doing it, you're like, why can't you do that? But I gotta focus, it like makes it harder to like stay focused.
Yeah. So, I mean, I I don't know. It sounds silly, but I mean, the gym is kind of like my church. I mean, it's just like where I can think, and I'm just in my zone there. It's just where I kind of need to go. If I can't go, the gym I go to, it has memberships all over the country. So if we travel, I'm able to find a gym, in a different city or whatever. Or there's always just being able to go outside for a run and doing, 3-4 exercises and calling it a day.
That's awesome.
But I've definitely been at the gym at some odd hours just to get that workout in. If we have a day of travel coming up, or something for work isn't going to let me get there. But cute outfits help too.
I work at a clothing store 1 day a month just so that I can have a discount. Okay, so I get that.
I would love to do that. Maybe I'll have to think about that.
So I totally get that. It's like any little thing that we can do that helps us stay motivated, and you've made it a priority. And so that, like, for you, it's a way for you, like, people talk about meditation, and I think it throws everyone off. Like, people think automatically, oh, meditation, I have to sit here and do this humming or this breathing technique. But I think people miss that part of it's meditative for you. You get in your own space, you're in your bubble, and you're collecting and bringing all your power back and your energy back from every little piece that you give away. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a teacher. I can't even imagine, like, you're just giving all the time. And if you don't take that time to just kind of ground in and have that space just for you, you're not worth worthless to everybody,
Yeah.
honestly, because then you're scattered and you're all over the place. And I guarantee you're feeling like that is your grounding, that is your meditative space to
Hmm.
be in.
Yep.
And that's so cool because I think a lot of us are searching for that we don't
Hmm.
have the opportunity to figure out what it is for us that really works. And so we do that. We try the yoga, we try the meditation, we do the
Yep.
breathing, all these things. And it's still just like, I think it's huge to hear from other people that, hey, this is what works for me. And I feel so much better. And then I can go out in the world and be a better me because I'm doing these things. And that's healthy and that's amazing. And you look amazing, like
Thank
honestly.
you.
So
Thank
it's
you.
yeah, bravo. Like yeah, I'm just like so awesome. I think it's awesome. So good.
Thank you. You look great too, Julie.
Well, thank you. I
You do.
appreciate
You do.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to wrap up, tell me, we all have dreams, right? There's like something deep inside and we maybe feel a little stuck. So like give us something about Sarah that if you could do anything right now, take away COVID and everything, like maybe it's a different job, maybe it's like somewhere you'd really want to go, like tell us a dream space for you, something.
Um, well, I would really love to, um, I'd really love to be a trainer. I really would. And I think I'm stuck right now, with the fact that the job I've had for 26, 27 years, whatever it is, I know it and I know how to do it, and it's just, it's routine, it's automatic for me. And so for me to go and do something different, would really force me to get outside of my bubble. Um, but I would love to, I would love to pursue something in fitness, be a trainer or something like that. My husband and I have talked about, buying a gym and running a gym. And, I would need help with that. I think early on, but I think it would be a lot of fun, to run a gym. And, and then there's always, my big dream is to someday qualify for Boston. That's definitely,
You're still holding on to the Boston. I love it.
I am. And I'm not training for a marathon right now because it's a lot of, usually I run about 500 miles in preparation for a marathon. And, I just haven't felt like I'm ready to commit to that. But I'm going to, I am going to do another one. And, I hope that it's successful enough that I can get there. Cause I've been to Boston. I've stood in the circle where all the winners' names are of all the marathons over the years, and it's pretty great. Boston's a fabulous city, anyway. But I'd like to be there for that little piece of, I don't know, history or whatever to run in that
experience. I mean, that's important too. I can feel it. Like when you are telling me about it, like everything lights up. It's like, even when you're telling me about owning a gym or like training people, I see you doing that, and you're already a teacher. So I don't think it would be a huge shift for you. It's more like finding your niche with like clients, like what type of client, that sort of thing. But I feel your dreams. I feel it, like I can resonate with that, with your heart. And that is beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. And then you just are going to, like you said earlier, like we're all going to appreciate all of these things as soon as we can kind of get out of this fog. I know we'll probably have something else because so is life, but I think that's an amazing dream, and I could totally 100% see you do that. So we're just going to put that out in the universe, and we're just going to help some of those blocks be moved for you. And I want to bring your heart back, and I want to put that heart back in and give you all your energy back because you deserve it. And you give and you give and you give, and it's time for you to live your dreams and live your life. So keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I really, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, this was fun. Thank you.
So much. So much fun getting to know you more. And yay, I hope we can chat again soon. And maybe one of these days we'll all actually get together. Be so
I know.
awesome.
That would be awesome.
So awesome. And we'll have you run a training class for us. It'll be amazing. Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.